Okay, hello everyone. Big Blue Shampoo. Welcome to my 2019 7-round New York Giants mock draft. I'm very proud of this mock draft. A few disclaimers. First one, Dave Gettleman said, 3 biggest, most important things in football. You have to run the football, you have to stop the run, and you have to rush the passer. I drafted accordingly. Another disclaimer, Dave Gettleman, the number one rule to predicting Dave Gettleman draft picks is Dave Gettleman does not reach for players. It doesn't happen. He doesn't do it. He doesn't draft for need. He picks the best available player, the best player he thinks is the best, and I drafted accordingly with my mock draft. So, without further ado, I think you guys are going to be really surprised. There's no quarterbacks, there's no wide receivers, there's no any of that crap. There's no trading up and down in the first round, none of that. I am doing what Dave Gettleman said he's going to do, and that is let the draft come to you. You're going to bank on people dropping, people falling in the draft. So there's going to be some picks that you'll be like, hey, that player's not going to be there. He's going to be taken already. But that's not the way you can predict his draft. He is going to pick players that you won't expect to be there. Mathematically, one of the 4 best defensive players in the draft, Nick Bosa, Josh Allen, Devin White, and Quinnen Williams. One of those 4 are going to make it to the 6th overall pick. Mathematically, it has to happen. Well, it doesn't have to. It's possible that it doesn't. But I got to do this quick because, hey, you guys don't want to watch an hour-long video. Here we go. My 7-round mock draft with the 6th overall pick of the 2019 NFL Draft. The New York Football Giants select Quinnen Williams, defensive tackle out of Alabama. Quinnen Williams is a stud. He's going to be a turning point for the Giants defense. He's going to be a cornerstone. He's going to lead the defense. He's going to be the best player on the New York Giants defense if they draft him. Now, moving on. Round 1, 17th overall pick. The New York Giants select Clelin Ferrell, edge rusher out of Clemson. Now, with these 2 picks, I love these 2 picks. I decided to go all defense in the first round, and I am very glad that I did that. I think that the Giants' biggest need is defense. There's a lot of studs in this defense. With everything that Dave Gettleman's been saying, they will be picking all defense in this draft. Well, not all defense, but mostly defense. It's going to be a definite emphasis on defense. I really like Clelin Ferrell. His stock dropped a little bit. I feel comfortable picking him at 17. He's a good player. Round 2, 37th overall, the New York Giants select Greg Little, offensive tackle out of Ole Miss. Now, Greg Little is a first-round talent, but like I said, you have to draft like people are going to fall, and, Dave Gettleman's going to pick the best player available. If Greg Little was to fall to 37, hey, he'd be the best player there, so I got to pick him. That's going to complete the rebuild for the offensive line for the Giants. All of a sudden, the Giants have a freaky good offensive line with Greg Little, Will Hernandez, Nate Solder, Kevin Zeitler, and John Halapio kind of being the runt of the litter. But hey, he's still pretty solid. The Giants really like him. Moving on, round 2. What? The Giants are going to have another pick in round 2? Yes, they are. I am predicting a trade for another 2nd round pick, a mid-rounder, maybe kind of 45, 55 kind of range. And what are they going to give up to get it? They're going to give up their round 3, 95th overall, their round 5, 142nd overall, the round 7, 232nd overall, and they're going to select Rock Ya-Sin, cornerback out of Temple. This guy is really, really good. He is a man-to-man cover corner. He does not do zone, but James Betcher runs a man-to-man with his defense, with his 3-4 defense. Rock Ya-Sin fits the bill. I don't want the Giants to come out of this draft without him. There used to be a time where you could say, hey, yeah, Giants could just get Rock Ya-Sin with the 95th overall pick. But you can't say that anymore because scouts and analysts started to kind of catch wind of this kid, and they were like, no, he is a 2nd round talent. Even some people are saying that he's a late 1st round talent. So he might not even be there in round 2, but if he is, Giants, trade up, get him. He's going to be perfect in the system. He's going to lock down wide receivers so that our new Quinnen Williams, Clelin Ferrell, Lorenzo Carter, Dalvin Tomlinson, BJ Hill can get home and create sacks, and the Giants can actually win games. Moving on, round 3, 95 overall. Traded for Rock Ya-Sin. Round 4, 108th overall. This is a player that you cannot pass up. Dylan Mitchell, wide receiver out of Oregon. Ever heard of Justin Herbert? This is the guy he's throwing the ball to. Too good to pass up at this spot. He's criminally underrated. If he's in the 4th round, 108th overall, gotta pick him. He's too good to pass up. I am not one of those people that are like, oh, replace OBJ. Don't replace OBJ with one star guy that you gotta pay $1 billion to. Replace him with a plethora of talent for Eli Manning to throw to. And this guy is your guy, Dylan Mitchell. He's great. I love him. Awesome. Next, round 4, 132nd overall. Amani Hooker, safety out of Iowa. Same deal. Too good to pass up. So underrated. He's so talented. He's going to be great in the NFL. The Giants need to take him if he's there. I know you got Antoine Bethea at free safety, but Antoine Bethea's a geezer. He's gonna have a walker out there. You're gonna have to change his, you're gonna have to change his diaper pretty soon. Amani Hooker, he could rotate between Antoine Bethea and himself, and then in year 2, he could really jump up to that starting position and be a great free safety. He can cover, he could tackle, he can even cover the line of scrimmage. He's just a great player. He's the full package. He's really, really underrated. I would feel comfortable taking him in the 2nd round but hey, nobody else thinks that. So hey, round 4, yeah, I'll take him. And that's exactly the way Dave Gettleman drafts players. Round 5, 142nd overall. Remember I told you we traded that for Rock Ya-Sin. So moving on, round 5, 143rd overall, I am taking TJ Edwards, middle linebacker out of Wisconsin. I didn't pick Devin White. So who am I putting there at that middle linebacker position opposite to Alec Ogletree? I'm putting TJ Edwards there. He's a pretty good player. Developmental, there's a few problems. He's not very athletic. He's not very fluid, and he kind of misses tackles sometimes. But he produces. He's reliable. He hasn't really been injured too much, and he is just a great player. I think he's got a great attitude for the locker room that Dave Gettleman's trying to build. I love him. Now, round 5, 171st overall. Drew Samia, offensive guard out of Oklahoma. This is another underrated player, I think, just with this band of offensive linemen. I think in another draft, like prior year's draft, Drew Samia would be like a late round 2, late round 3 pick. Developmental, great depth player, great, developmental, rotational player in round 5, 171st overall. It's a position on the Giants that kind of scares me because behind Will Hernandez and Kevin Zeitler, not Zach, I always call him Zach. Kevin Zeitler, there's really no guards that are going to, be able to step up and do work like Drew Samia could. So if he's there at 171, draft him. Round 6, 180th overall. Not Drew Samia. I already said that. Drew Sample, tight end out of Washington. The Giants need a tight end? Not really, but I really like Drew Sample. I know a lot about him, and he's a great player. No reason you couldn't get another depth player, another rotational player behind Evan Ingram and Rhett Ellison. And round 7, 232nd overall. Traded for Rock Ya-Sin. I mentioned that earlier. Now, if we need to trade more for Rock Ya-Sin, you could do it. You could give, the other round 7 pick, one of the other round 5 picks, maybe that round 6 pick, maybe one of the round 4 picks. The reason I didn't give up a round 4 pick is because I wanted those 2 players, Dylan Mitchell and Amani Hooker. But moving on, the last pick, round 7, 245th overall. Really, really late in the draft, I'm going to pick Ed Oliver, or not Ed Oliver. He's like a round 1, first round pick consensus. Ed Alexander, defensive tackle out of LSU. We got Quinnen Williams. We got a lot of people at defensive tackle, a lot of stud players, a lot of youngsters. Ed Alexander is just going to be your rotational developmental player. He's had great coaching at LSU on defense. I really like him. So that's my mock draft, guys. I'm really proud of it. There's no filler picks in this mock draft. Not a single filler pick. And that means, you're doing your mock draft and it's like round 6 and you're like, who would I pick at round 6? I already did all the fun picks, the early picks. Let me just pick this guy. Who cares? All these players I did my research on. I made a decision. It was like draft night for me. and I spent months and months putting this together. I finally locked it in. I got a draft that I really liked, probably because I, didn't reach for any of the players. I predicted that all these players fell pretty much, which is not really practical, and it's definitely not going to work out this way. But it's a 12-pick draft, and yes, I do think that if the Giants trade up, it's going to be like from round 3 to round 2, or maybe in the later rounds, like not the later rounds, but mid rounds. And they're going to bundle those later rounds to do that. All right, that was my mock draft. Just to go over it one more time, you got Quinnen Williams, defensive tackle, Cleveland Farrell, edge rusher, Greg Little, offensive tackle, Rock Ya-Sin, cornerback, Dylan Mitchell, wide receiver, Amani Hooker, safety, TJ Edwards, middle linebacker, Drew Samia, offensive guard, Drew Sample, tight end, and Ed Alexander, defensive tackle. What a draft class that would be. And the Giants would become NFL Super Bowl contenders with that talent. Have a good day, everybody. I will see you Thursday when the Giants pick 6th overall and 17th overall at approximately 8 to 11 p.m. Have a good night. Hope you enjoyed my mock draft.